This week, Godzilla and King Kong, two iconic movie monsters, have their own big budget, modern technology showdown movie, Godzilla vs. Kong. I checked it out today in theaters, and let's talk about it. If you're new around here, I'm the film fan. I do reviews, rankings, so on. I talk about movies, and today I'm going to be talking about this one. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get into this movie. In a time where monsters walk the earth, humanity's fight for its future sets Godzilla and Kong on a collision course that will see the two most powerful forces of nature on the planet collide in a spectacular battle for the ages. I wasn't particularly excited for this movie until the trailer for it dropped. It perfectly highlighted what this movie was going to be like. It looked like the ultimate fast food movie. It looked super entertaining despite not seeming to be like great cinema or anything. My dad and his Millie Bobby Brown obsession was automatically hooked and ready to see this, so we checked it out in theaters today. Did it live up to what it was trying to be? Did it embrace the fun of this premise and live inside of the goofiness, or did it go way too serious and pretend to be more than what it is? Here are my thoughts on Godzilla vs. Kong. And without further ado, let's get into the good. And the best thing about this movie is that it delivers on the awesome Godzilla and Kong action. It lives up to its premise. You get to see these two big name movie monsters. Like, these are two of the biggest ones of these sort of things. The kaiju universe. I don't know. You get to see these two iconic movie monsters beat the living heck out of each other, and it looks great. Every shot is in a way that is easy to see, and it is lit in a way that nothing is too dark, even at night, and you can always see what is going on. There are tons of creative moves as well. Each fight is different than the last and in a totally different location, so you get to see them use their surroundings to their advantage in a cool and interesting way. The CGI is great looking, and there was never something that looked off. And so I absolutely am happy that we get to see these two characters show down together. A giant lizard and a giant monkey killing each other with modern effects. It is just so exciting, especially in theaters. If you are able to see this movie in theaters, you should absolutely do that. I also liked that this movie made Kong a little bit more of a character. It makes some of the action sequences feel even more engaging because you actually care about the lead monkey here. And the film puts effort to make that the case. This movie really is somewhat about him, despite being called Godzilla vs. Kong. It's really Kong versus Godzilla. He even gets a little bit of an arc in the movie. It isn't anything mind-blowing, but he doesn't get anything super, like this big dramatic story or anything. But it is there. He does get a little bit more in this movie, and that is pretty surprising. I also like just going into the mythology of this world with the monsters and how it ties to our present and stuff. There's one location in particular that they go to in this movie, and with the way all that plays out and how it goes along, I thought it was a really cool direction to take the movie. And I had no idea about it. It wasn't in any of the trailers, and I'm glad I went in blind with that. So it's cool to have all of this building up into the big showdown. And finally, the cast is pretty good. I'll get more to the actual human characters themselves, but they always cast great actors for these movies, and they all do a good job here. In general, this is a very easy to get excited about movie. It's a highly entertaining blockbuster. You can easily tear it apart, but it is so easy to have such a good time with it because it totally delivers on what you want out of these. This isn't for everyone, though. So let's move on to the mixed aspects. And the big thing is this is a very, very dumb movie. It plays into that and embraces it, which is a good thing. It has fun with itself and it doesn't go super serious. It promises to deliver a good time and does exactly that. It gives you a good time. My biggest problem with Godzilla King of the Monsters was that it took itself way too seriously, and so the logic, though it's about the same level of quality in this movie, it didn't feel as frustrating because this movie understood that, whereas King of the Monsters didn't really seem to. So, there are some big holes in the story. There are some way too many contrivances for its own good. But that is absolutely part of the charm. It isn't high-level art, and rather just a really solid flick that allows you to see a giant lizard and a giant monkey beat each other up. What the heck did I just... Okay. That is the appeal for this movie, and many people will ruin the film for them and will not enjoy it. Although I did, for sure. And from there, let's move into the bad. And the worst thing about this movie is, as usual in all of these, the humans. Now, this movie does a much better job with the humans than the others. King of the Monsters failed once again because they were front and center, the humans, and they just were not good enough to carry the movie. That is not the case here. The monsters are the main event in this film and nothing else. With that being said, the human stuff is still pretty boring. There isn't anything that feels super distinct about it, or anybody that feels distinct. Everybody is just there to move the plot along. This was something I was expecting, and it doesn't bug me too much because this film understands that once again. Despite that, I have to dock it a few points for it, of course. Also, at times, it is even a little too silly even for the dumb setup. It had to come up with ways for Godzilla and Kong to meet up and be separated, only to find each other again. The way it is done in the film relies way too much on contrivances that do stick out somehow, even in a movie like this. And in general, that section of the movie, with how it's put together and how they separate and whatnot, those sections of the movie, I just don't think they flowed very well. And that's really all I can say for the bad. So my final thoughts are on this movie. So before I give it my score, let me know what you thought about it. I'd love to hear what you think. YouTube is probably going to mark this video as for kids, but hopefully they don't. So hopefully there's a comment section and let me know what you thought of this movie. This is not high art cinema. This is a fast food movie. It is fast food. It is easy to digest and have a good time with. It delivers on everything you want from the movie, and it lives up to being a highly entertaining blockbuster. It certainly isn't going to be one of the best movies of the year, but it's definitely one of the most fun ones so far. If you enjoy this sort of thing, you gotta check this out, and in theaters if you can. I'm going to give it a B and a 7 out of 10. I recommend this to fans of the franchise, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, if you could, subscribe. Once again, comment what you'd like to see me do next, if there are going to be a comment section, and follow me on Letterboxd if you could. I'll link it in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!